From Yarm to Yibby, Harrington to Horsley Hill, Swalwell to Silverlink. Steve and Ry, the North East Footy Breakfast.
Right across the North East, the Red, the Toon and the Cat.
And a very warm
here we go.
to the North East Footy Breakfast. Good morning. It's the Cat, the Toon and the Red. 2 minutes past 7. How are we doing this morning? What a weekend for our North East football teams.
Come on.
Sunderland getting back to winning ways with a 3-0 away win at hopeless Sheffield Wednesday. The Geordies continuing their winning run with a 2-0 defeat at Burnley. It
was a Heineken weekend. It's a Heineken
really
weekend.
was.
If Heineken did football victories for North East clubs, this was the weekend.
And Borough continuing their 3 wins with a fantastic win down at Watford. 3-2 winners. A Heineken weekend for our football teams across the North East.
That's it.
And this morning we've got Ry joining us from Down Under. Good morning, Ry.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're all fantastic, safe and well on this beautiful Monday. And what a weekend it was.
It certainly was. And coming live from the centre of Newcastle, we've got Steve and Davey Lad together. Gents, what are you doing in the centre of Newcastle this morning?
I've got to ask Steve, because I had to drive up from Teesside this morning with a load of gear in the car. He just said, get yourself up to the Toon, well, Gateshead side of the Toon, and bring gear. So what the heck have you got me lined up for here, Steve?
We are at Raval Indian Brasserie and Bar. It's a restaurant in Gateshead. It's one of my favourites. It's certainly a favourite amongst the good people of Gateshead. And we're here to celebrate National Curry Week and the impending Champions League game against PSG on Wednesday. We're really looking forward to welcoming Mbappe and all to Tyneside. And what better way of doing it than coming for a curry at 7 o'clock in the morning, Dave? Especially with your toilet history.
Right, I'm telling you, I've been done here. I've been done. He said, come up because it's National Curry Week. He never said get to Tyneside as a Borough fan and start talking about the Champions League and the Toon.
And just to paint a picture here, lads, I can see St James's Park. I can see the Tyne Bridge, which needs a lick of paint, by the way. And I can also see Dave sitting in what looks like a red and white top, but not a Borough one. It's like red and white stripes, which looks a bit more like Sunderland. And I'm sitting here in my Newcastle top. So, to be honest, lads, I'm flying the flag. Dave's a bit concerned, I think, about wearing a Borough top.
You didn't tell me you're turning up in club colours. Come on. And I'm refusing to look out the window, Ry, I'm telling you. I'm refusing to look. Normally, I look out of the studio window, and there is the Transporter Bridge. Actually, I'm just taking a quick peek out now. I can see the Tyne Bridge in front of me. But the only good news about the Tyne Bridge is, which many people across Tyneside will not know, it was built by Teessiders. It was built on Teesside and put in place by Teessiders.
Where have you got this fact from?
True fact, mate. True fact.
Yep. If Davey says it, it's a true fact.
There you go. He sits there at night coming up with the facts for the day, mate.
Unbelievable. But that's why we're here. We're here to celebrate National Curry Week, and we're teaming up as well for a charity called Feeding Families, which is based in Gateshead. And for everyone who comes into the restaurant and eats a chicken tikka masala, the equivalent will be donated to that charity all week from now until Saturday. So it's a great way to support a local initiative as well. And if you want to book up, you just need to go to the Raval website, and there's a nice little bonus as well. I do a podcast, of course, called NUFC Matters. If you quote NUFC Matters 2023, then you will get 20% discount this week. So well worth booking up and coming down and come have a pint in the Central Bar across in Gateshead. Cross over the road and get yourself into Raval. Wonderful, wonderful restaurant. Great people, great service, great food. What better way to celebrate National Curry Week?
Do you get 30% off if they say the Toon?
They might do. Like 40% of them say the Borough, or you'll probably get kicked out. Get out! It's Champions League week. What are you doing in here? And also, there's an opportunity to win a signed Alan Shearer ball, which we have just dropped off at the restaurant, and it's a free raffle. So basically, if you come to the restaurant this week, you'll get entered into the free raffle, and you could be the prize owner of an Alan Shearer signed football by the end of the week. So good luck with that.
Aye.
Good luck with that. So,
I'm keeping
the results this weekend have been...
I'm keeping a record here of how many times Steve's mentioned Champions League. I'm on to 2. All right, so
Is
and
it
it's
2?
It's 6 minutes past 7.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. You're going to get mentioned. You're going to get mentioned quite a bit of Champions League this week. What a week! What a week this is. And Mbappe is going to be coming to Tyneside on the crest of a slump. A 0-0 draw against a struggling team this week. So Mbappe is not going to be a happy chappy arriving on Tyneside when he sees £40,000 worth of drone technology flying above Tyneside. People were reporting sightings of a UFO above St James's Park last night, but it wasn't. It was the rehearsal for the drone display, which has been put together by Newcastle United and War Flags, and it looks fantastic, lads.
How
really
Geordie
does.
is that? How Geordie is War Flags? I'm asking you.
But it looks great. I mean, this is going to be the ultimate flag display, celebrating the fact that Newcastle are back in. Get ready for it, Daz. The Champions League.
There we go.
Are we talking
go.
the Carabao Champions League Cup here? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
You've got to park that.
Yeah.
You've got to park that at the end of October, November now, mate. I'm afraid. The Carabao Cup is not one for talking about now. But yeah, listen, great week ahead. Newcastle United really playing well at the moment. Clean sheets galore. And to have PSG in town, no matter what the result on Wednesday, I still think we'll win. Of course, I just can't wait. It's just going to be great to welcome Champions League football back to Tyneside for the first time in 20 years.
And I was here last time it was there. I was still doing my Sky Sports stuff and reporting on North East Footy, and it was great to see. As much of a die-hard Borough fan as I am, Steve, and I'm looking you in the eye now. This good job. This is radio. I'm looking you in the eye, Ry.
He is.
I'm pleased for you. It's good for the North East.
Don't do that.
To have the Champions League
You can't
here.
share a curry with him and look him in the eye.
Stop it, mate. Just hold your horses. Just pull that kangaroo in, mate. Just pull us in. What I will say, though, is enjoy it while it lasts, because the mighty Borough are coming back, and we'll be there soon.
Don't you worry about that.
No, I do want to bring Naz in, because Naz is sitting here patiently, and he's going to take a chair next to Dave and have a sit down and just Naz is from the restaurant. Good morning, Naz. Thanks for coming in at this ungodly hour.
Good morning, Steve, Dave.
Good to see you, mate. Good to see you. So, tell us a little bit about National Curry Week. What's it all about?
So, National Curry Week, so 25th anniversary of National Curry Week. And we are starting from today till the 8th. So, but what we're doing is curry with a cause, feeding families, donating. Basically, what you do is, with every chicken tikka masala you order, you generate a gift, feeding families around North East. So it's like one of those things, Steve. It's just like we're having curries every week or food every week and stuff like that. And there's people out there that they don't get that, and we're lucky wherever we go today you're going to get something, but they don't know where the next food is coming. So it's our way of giving back. We need to support our local areas and do our part. So this is very important for us to push forward and try and motivate other restaurants and stuff like that to carry on doing the same, because if we don't help our neighbours, then who will? So it's very important for us. So obviously with Newcastle United, teaming up with you and stuff like that, try to get more audience, and I think it'd be just great. And obviously Tuna back in the Champions League, and it's amazing to see them. I remember when Asprilla scored that hat-trick, and it was just like these memories are coming back. My room was full of posters, the match magazines you used to get every week. Shearer, Asprilla, Les Ferdinand, and David Batty and stuff like that. It's just amazing. The vibe here is just buzzing. So yeah, we're looking forward to this.
Great stuff. From your perspective, chicken tikka masala. Is that the most bought curry? Is that the curry that everybody likes in Gateshead?
All around the UK.
All around the UK. Yeah. Most popular.
The national British cuisine.
Yeah.
And masalas. That's why we thought we'd give what everyone likes, not like something like Rogan. People like stuff like that, but I think masala, everyone loves it, and our masala is different, so we're going to push that forward. And for the vegetarians, we've got the paneer masala, so we've got that option as well. So yeah.
And this is an award-winning restaurant as well, isn't it? Doing very well.
Yeah. Yeah, we just won, and it's amazing to win awards and stuff like that. It just proves that how much hard work we do and what we're getting back in return. So yes, amazing. We've got the poster up there, and yeah, it's I know we're fine dining, but it's for everyone. It's everyone can come in and just enjoy our food. It's totally different.
And I think one of the chefs that I remember coming here when this restaurant first opened, Alan Shearer, has actually cooked in this restaurant.
Alan Shearer, we haven't got photo of him in the kitchen.
I'm leaving.
And yeah, Alan Shearer has came in, and yeah, he's been collaborating with us in the past and stuff like that, which was amazing. Alan Shearer is like icon of Newcastle, and he still will be. And yeah, it's just one of those celebrities that we've had.
I tell you what I like about this restaurant, and I know because it's got a close proximity to the Sage, it's got a close proximity to Newcastle, of course, as well, the Hilton across the road. But what I like about this place, Dave, is there's a lot of people get in here, a lot of well-known faces, a lot of famous faces, and you go to a lot of restaurants, and what they do is the staff and the manager, they want a photograph and they get it on the wall. I think that looks chatty. I think what I like about this place is they get people in here. They don't boast about it. It just happens, and those people come back. So I think Johnny Depp, when he was in Newcastle, came here. You know, some restaurants in Newcastle use it as a little bit of a cheap advertising tool, but this place doesn't. And I think that's what gives this restaurant a little bit more quality than some of the others.
I mean, what I like about it is, well, two things. Have you got a Teesside one yet?
In the future we'll get one in Teesside, around your ends, in Middlesbrough.
Well, that's good, mate, because we'll keep talking to you then. So what I like about this is there's going to be one in Teesside. We've just heard it live on the radio. But what you're trying to do this week is you guys, you prepare the food, you serve the food, your customers come in and eat the food. We can all dip our hands in our pockets involved in this program and go out for a curry one night, but there are people who can't. You mentioned that earlier. So the whole idea is trying to raise money now for the local food bank, and we'll try and set up an initiative on Teesside. We'll do one in Wearside as well. But the whole idea is for National Curry Week, you're an award-winning curry house, the British Curry Awards winner. Trying to raise money, trying to get that money into the food bank so we can help those people who can't walk through your door, who can't come in, and spend a few quid and enjoy a night out.
Definitely, Dave. That's you've got a bang on. That's 100% what you're saying, Dave. We're a family, and you know what? We work as a family, and if we can help the people that need it, that's even better. And like you said, Steve, it's not about boosting or nothing like that. It's a humble thing that we're doing, and we just want to get people to get and do the same as well. And the only boosting that we'll do is encourage other firms or businesses to do the same. That's the only boost that we only recommend to do.
Any borough players in? Have you had any Middlesbrough or Sunderland players in? Or is it all just Newcastle? I'm really getting parochial now.
Sunderland players, in the future, hopefully we get them when they're back.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
They just have cheesy chips. They don't sell them here, Dave.
The Sunderland's, the fans, they're like brothers, our neighbouring brothers, aren't they?
He's very diplomatic, and he's too good for this show.
He should be a politician, this fella.
He should be. He should be. Well, we're gonna have Rajesh, who is the chef. I've just seen him come in. He's got his chef whites on. He's away in the kitchen. So we're gonna have.
So we're really having a curry this morning.
We're gonna have some delicacies this morning.
Wonderful.
I haven't set you up, Dave. Don't worry. It's not a fall or a vindaloo or a madrak, because we know what your belly's like, mate. After your little trip to Malaysia.
Yeah.
I know it's a bit delicate at this time of the month, but yeah, we are going to have some food later on. But for now, Naz, thank you very much, mate.
Cheers, Naz.
Thank you for having me.
Cheers, mate.
Great stuff. Great. We're going to be having a lot more chat about Raval this morning, Dave, I'm sure, and pushing the initiative. But got to go to some headlines. There's been some great news over the weekend, hasn't there?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Weekend.
Let's do it. Let's get back to footy.
Who would like to go first?
Yeah, I'll take it off because I'm just sitting here jealously with Curry. Daz and I just, out of location this morning. But you know what, Daz, you're my new best friend. Those two aren't this morning. They can they can sit there with their over their curries, mate, and you and I, we can just sit here and talk to ourselves, I reckon. We're not prepared for Monday morning. What a Monday morning it is. Good, and what a week for the Borough. Good morning, Borough fans. Michael Carrick will tell you that 3 points are 3 points. and that they all add up to the same at the end of the season. But try telling that to the delirious Middlesbrough fans inside Vicarage Road on Saturday, for whom this felt like a defining victory. It will certainly be one of those that pop up in the memory bank when great days are mentioned on the Teesside come May. Joy, elation, nervousness, dread, back to elation, pride, a whole gamut of emotions in that 90 pulsating minutes. What stood out most of all was the belief the Borough players carried with them to win a match twice in the same afternoon. A 2-0 up after 12 minutes and finding another one in space that only outside the Watford penalty area. It seemed inconceivable that Borough wouldn't pocket the 3 points. But Riley McGree, the GOAT, twice found himself all alone with a clear shot on goal. The first running onto a ball slipped in by Johnny Howson and was passed into the Watford net with keeper Daniel Backman leaving a gaping hole at his near post. And Joshy Coburn as well then netted his first of the season on Saturday, which proved to be the match-winning contribution to end the enthralling 3-2 victory at Vicarage Road. But the goal came with his toes heavily blistered after wearing new boots in training last week and admitting afterwards it was a big mistake. Reverting back to his old boots for the game at Watford, he joked, "I can't change them now though, can I?" But that unfortunate incident with the new boots wasn't the only reason Borough could thank their training for Saturday's victory. Rather than something superstitious, Coburn revealed that his match-winning goal was something straight out of the training pitches and that Carrick has got the boys firing as he ran onto Matt Crook's through ball to deliver a fatal blow to Watford's hopes in the game. Borough, who have now seemingly clicked, invite Cardiff to a buoyant Riverside midweek and will likely, without Lewis O'Brien, who Carrick will be nervously waiting on scan results today after looking to sustain a nasty injury. That is your Borough headlines, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. What a week for the Borough.
Absolutely. And in Sunderland news, well, it was a great result for Sunderland on Friday night. 2 goals from Jack Clarke and 1 from Dan Ballard got them back on track as the Black Cats moved up to 4th in the table. Jack Clarke scored twice as Sunderland climbed that championship table and headed more gloom to winless Sheffield Wednesday in the process. The Black Cats outclassed the basement side, scoring twice in the opening 8 minutes and adding their third on the half hour. Centre-back Dan Ballard set them on their way when he headed in from a corner after only 5 minutes, with Clarke scoring a sublime individual goal after just 3 minutes. And then, when on loan Chelsea man Mason Burstow was fouled by Bambo Diaby, Clarke stepped up to convert from the spot to notch his 7th goal of the season, which makes him the Championship's leading marksman at this stage in the campaign. Sunderland's 3 goals in South Yorkshire means that they've finished the night as the Championship top scorers with 18 goals in 9 games, and that's no mean feat given that their striker are yet to get off the mark. Mowbray said, "I think we need to score for more all over the pitch. I've said it before, I think we need 70 odd goals to give ourselves a chance of being in and around the playoffs this season." Mason Burstow says that Sunderland were trying to sign him permanently at the start of the transfer window before Chelsea elected to send the striker out on loan. The 20-year-old forward had multiple offers before moving to Wearside, while he made 2 Premier League appearances on the bench for Pochettino's side at the start of the campaign. "I knew there was interest in the window," said Burstow, and when asked about Sunderland's approach, and it was mainly to buy me, but Chelsea weren't having any of it. Eventually Pochettino gave me the go-ahead, and that's when Sunderland came straight back in. Burstow's yet to score, but did get an assist and won the penalty for Jack Clarke on Friday night. And also in Sunderland news, not a great story to report, but a 31-year-old Sheffield Wednesday fan has been charged with a public order offence for showing an image of Bradley Lowry on his phone during the Championship fixture against Sunderland. Dale Houghton from Rotherham has been called to appear before Sheffield magistrates this morning, and police have applied for a football banning order. A 27-year-old man was also arrested before being released on bail for further inquiries. That is your Sunderland news this morning.
Okay, Newcastle United a deserved home win on Saturday, made it 10 goals, 6 points and 2 clean sheets in the Premier League for Newcastle since Sunday, and haven't failed to keep a clean sheet in the opening 4 games of it. United made it 5 in a row in all competitions with a 2-0 win over Burnley without the scorers. Anthony Gordon will miss next weekend's fixture between Newcastle United and West Ham United after the Newcastle star picked up his 5th yellow card of the season in the game against Burnley at the weekend. United's injury crisis deepened at the weekend as well, with Eddie Howe confirming that both Callum Wilson and Sven Botman will be out with injuries until the international break later this month. Joe Linton also limped off at the weekend and is a major doubt for this week's fixtures. And Newcastle United fans will be treated to a spectacular drone display prior to their match against PSG on Wednesday. The drones rehearsal at the Toon took place last night above St James's Park, with many fans getting a glimpse of what is in store. It looks fantastic. Short but sweet on the Newcastle headlines this morning, but it's all about the Champions League this week, lads. That's 5 times, Daz. 5 times.
I'm counting. What a weekend. What a weekend.
What a weekend.
Teams.
Honestly, what a great weekend. And that performance from the Borough is one that, honestly, I said it in the headlines, but that is one that we're going to remember for a long time. It had everything. It had pain, it had glory, it had moments of disbelief, it had absolutely everything for me. And unfortunately, like you said in the Sunderland headlines, it's been a great weekend for the Northeast footy teams, don't get me wrong, but there are a couple of stories in there that have really marred the weekend for me. Yeah. And I want to get them out of the way early, because it's been something that's just really upset me. And obviously we saw the Sunderland news there with the Sheffield Wednesday fans displaying that photo, and I'm glad that it's obviously been dealt with and arrested, because that was just terrible. And then unfortunately at the Borough game as well, we've seen some unsavoury news directed towards Yusuf, a massive Borough fan. I did an interview with Yusuf just the other week, and I speak to Yusuf on the regular. We message each other on Instagram, and unfortunately, Yusuf has copped some abuse at the Middlesbrough ground as well. So 2 really, really disheartening moments. And obviously, look, I don't want to get on them too much, but we are the Brekkie show, and we got to cover it all. But look, the fans, we go, we pay our money, we watch our clubs and that, but we don't want to see any of that at our football clubs. And I just want to reiterate that, that unfortunately there were those 2 disappointing stories, and I hope. And I know that both fans and obviously police for certain ones are going to deal with it accordingly. But
the flip side of that, Ry, is that football fans, as always, come out and always do the right thing. There might be a small minority that brings shame on the game, but fans have raised over £10,000 for the Bradley Lowry Foundation after the mocking image,
isn't it? Yeah,
was shared at Sheffield. And if there's a positive come out of it, then that is it. But the guy deserves the book thrown at him with this public order offence. One person arrested. He's in court this morning, and of course the other guy's been released on bail pending further inquiries. But disgusting. I 100% agree. And any form of racism is deplorable. And to see that at Middlesbrough, Yusuf getting racist abuse at the game at the weekend is disgusting. And hopefully someone comes forward and does the right thing. But as you say, the minority tarnishing what's been a wonderful weekend for the Northeast football scene.
I mean, the whole idea of this breakfast show is, we're all rivals. Steve, it's amazing actually doing this show with you in the same room. We can get to blows later. You support Newcastle. I support Borough. Daz is a Borough fan. Ry's a Borough fan. Ted, who's coming on and joining us as our Sunderland fans on there. We can all have a pop at each other. We can be envious if we want. We can be, cock of the north 1 minute if we want, and try and, score the brownie points. But you don't have to resort to what we've seen over the weekend, sure. I know there are fans who are more ingrained in the way they approach football. So maybe they don't want to, there is a Sunderland fan who doesn't want to talk to a Newcastle fan. Maybe there's Newcastle fans who don't want to talk to Sunderland fans. I get the depth that rivalry can go to. But you really are scraping the bottom of the barrel when it starts becoming racist comments, when it starts becoming, what we saw at Sheffield Wednesday with that picture of Bradley Lowry and all that sort of stuff. I mean, there's no place in the modern day game for that sort of stuff.
No, Borough fan, it was a Borough fan by all accounts. A Borough fan having a pop at a Borough fan, which is disgusting.
It was
why do that? Yeah. Why do that against one of your own fans? Especially when that person is supporting your team. It's there's no call for it in any shape or form, but it beggars belief. It really does. And that should be a lifetime ban, I think, for that guy or girl. I think it is who's found it. Needs to be.
There's certainly a banning order, and Sheffield Wednesday are taking some action as well. I'm going to switch subjects here. Ryan, I'm sorry if I cut you off there, mate, but it's worth it.
No, you're all right, mate. All good.
Can I just refer to Wikipedia?
Yep.
Right, and we all know how accurate a source Wikipedia is.
Yep, 100%. Yep.
But this one is fairly accurate. The Tyne Bridge is a through arch bridge over the River Tyne in the northeast of England, linking Newcastle upon Tyne and Gateshead. The bridge was designed by engineering firm Mott, Hay and Anderson, who later designed the Forth Road Bridge, and was built by Dorman Long and Company of Middlesbrough. Thank you very much. The case for the defence rests. No, we didn't actually. We brought up Smoggies.
Definitely hired Geordies. It was. You can tell the way it's built.
Yeah, all the paint's
We
falling
must have
off.
painted it because all the paint's come off
we
that.
just
There must have
built
been the
it.
Middlesbrough painters.
You've got to maintain it. We build it, you maintain it.
Middlesbrough classically holding up Newcastle once again. The only reason that you're able to get around in the is thanks to a Middlesbrough.
It's the
And
iconic
it's the same.
symbol
I mean, I can't complain. It's the same here in Sydney. We got we got the classic Harbour Bridge down here in Sydney, and that's from all the steel there's from Middlesbrough as well. So we're
Which
making
came
a
first,
mark.
the Sydney Harbour Bridge or the Tyne Bridge? That's the question.
That's a good question, actually. Maybe put that out to the WhatsApp listeners.
Tyne Bridge, but it wasn't
If
the
you know
test
your bridges.
ahead of the Sydney Harbour. I'd just like to point out it was Dormand Long and Company of Middlesbrough that built the Sydney Harbour Bridge as well. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
There you go.
Just for-
Jeez, some famous
It's
bridges to their
Champions
names.
League week, guys. We've got to try and score some points somewhere.
Do we? Yeah, we do.
Well done, Dave.
It is
You
a big
mentioned
week.
it.
I know, yeah.
It is a big week.
I tell you what, as well, on the wider front, it's been a big. Well, go on. What did he say? I've missed that. I did see that he drew a blank at the weekend.
Yeah, he sat down and he was talking about, in the press conference, Mbappe, and he was asked, the question, what are you looking forward to the Champions League? And he said, yeah, even though Carabao Cup's a lot larger competition, he thinks that travelling up to Newcastle,
For once, I thought you were being serious. Dear
So that's from Mbappe. Mbappe himself wants to be in the Carabao Cup instead. So breaking news.
Well, he knows
here,
who to sign for.
Mbappe
He come and sign for
Carabao.
Newcastle. We've got a history of getting to the final, recent history. I've got to say as well that what a result for Luton Town this weekend. I was going to. One of my talking points this week was: are they going to be able to get a win at all? I was going to, because you look at the lowest points total. Derby, of course, 2007, 2008. Sunderland, 2005, 2006 were 15. Huddersfield 2018, 2019 was 16. Aston Villa 17, 2015, 2016. Sunderland, who love to hold this record, 2002, 2003, 19 points. So I was thinking that would make a good topic. Are we going to see that record broken this year? But Luton getting a win against Everton, an impossible
At Everton
win
as well.
Yeah, fantastic at Everton. Unbelievable.
I don't know what it shows about Everton
Do you think that's going to
there
get
at the
beaten, lads?
moment.
Do you think that's going to get beaten?
I think it
Burnley
is.
Still.
I think it is. Yeah, because you've still got Burnley and Sheffield looking for their first win, and that's the funniest thing is that you've got Luton there. And if you had have put Luton, Burnley, and Sheffield United all together and said, right, out of these three clubs, who's getting the first 3 points of the season? I beg your bottom dollar that it wouldn't have been Luton. You would have predicted.
No.
You would have said Burnley or Sheffield United. But both Burnley and Sheffield United looking absolutely, bottom dwellers at the moment. Sheffield United obviously coming off that massive loss against Newcastle United last week, and then coming back playing a big defensive role again as well. We saw them go back to that the back four and playing an ultimate defensive game, but still losing 2-0. So I beg your belief where they're going to get their points now.
They weren't bad going forward. They've got a couple of good wingers, but they took the winger off, one of the most creative players, and they just don't have anybody in the middle to score goals. That's Burnley's problem, and they can't solve that now till January. So they could be firmly rooted to the bottom unless they find some kind of magic formula. And Vincent Kompany, great player, but could he be another one? We talked about this last week. Could he be another one who suffers? Good players, great players don't always make great managers, and did really well in the Championship, but struggling in the Premiership so far.
Yeah, I think Heckingbottom's on his last couple of days, I would argue. I think for the first managerial sack of the bottom, I think it's Heckingbottom. I don't think he's got long left now at Sheffield. After the 8-0 and the 2-0, I think Sheffield United will be looking to change pretty soon. But I don't know who's out there. That's the big thing. It might be someone unknown or something like that.
Steve Bruce.
I don't know who they go and target. Steve Bruce.
Send him
There
to
you go,
Sheffield.
Stevie. You're a regular listener of the show. We've hooked you up a job. Don't say we don't do anything for you, Brucey. I
I know we want listeners, but I don't want him.
Get down to Sheffield United, Brucey. Tell them the North East Brekkie Show sent you, and you'll walk straight in, mate, to a job.
It's a wonder he hasn't turned up at Raval.
For me, it's Sheffield United. I don't know where they're going to get their points, honestly.
I've got you.
He's driving over the Tyne Bridge. He probably thinks it's open. He's going to pop in.
Did somebody say bacon? That'll be his first comment.
How's the
when he
bacon,
walks
did
in,
you
mate.
say?
Six the head to the door.
How's the naan breads, did you say?
How's the naan bread, did you say?
We're about to find out. I'm telling you, I'm looking forward to this.
Very good results. Incredible results over the weekend, lads. We saw Man City lose to Wolves as well.
Yeah.
Has Newcastle burst Man City's bubble? Obviously losing in the Carabao Cup.
Unbelievable result, that. Yeah. I mean, to think that both Manchester teams would lose in the same weekend as well, because Man United lost at home to a wonder goal from Anderson. Roy Hodgson still doing the business down there. But yeah, Man City struggling. Pep not looking happy at all, sitting in the stand at one point. Just looking, as if he didn't have a clue at how to fix it. He's certainly been robbed of his key midfielders. Obviously, the sending off affected them massively a couple of weeks ago with Rodrigo, and then you've got De Bruyne still out long term. I think Man City are struggling. They always go through a little blip, but then they'll go on this unbeaten run, which ultimately will lead them to the title. I'm still sure that they will win the league despite that little fall. But that's a great result for Wolves. Absolutely,
it is
brilliant.
And particularly they won the game 2-1, but they only had one shot on target, which is
incredible, isn't it?
Yeah. And with Man United getting beat again, can we bring back the feature "Let's all laugh at Man United"? Can we bring that back to the show?
I tried to avoid it. I tried to avoid it last week. I was sick of speaking about them. But we're gonna have a laugh at Man U this week, I guess.
We were on Chelsea last week. Back to Man United this week, and another one as well for me, lads. Aston Villa 6, Brighton 1. I mean, if I'm talking about results from the weekend, Aston Villa 6. With Ollie Watkins, who's going to be asking for some big wages very soon, getting a hat-trick. 6-1 against
He's in my
Brighton.
fantasy league, lads. He's in my fantasy team.
Second hat-trick of the season.
Yeah.
Wild, isn't it? Absolutely wild. I did not expect to wake up, to see that news of Aston Villa beating Brighton, who
got me 58 points in the fantasy league.
Yeah, we were talking last week of Brighton being in the top 6. So, I don't know. That was a wild result, that one.
They're in the top 6 in the table, but Villa's now leapfrogged above them, and they're in the European slots. So that was an immense result.
And come on, we've got to speak about the most controversial one of the weekend, and that was Spurs-Liverpool.
What a mess.
Spurs, Ange still doing the business at Spurs, beating Liverpool 2-1. But then PGMOL, our friend, put out a statement saying that Luis Diaz's goal should have stood. Wow.
Somebody hold Dave. Him and his mates are in a bit of a mess at the moment. What an incredible.
I can't defend them.
We saw a statement from Liverpool as well. I mean, just saying like how disappointed they are and stuff like that. But geez, what a mess
I thought Klopp was very reserved, lads.
Yeah, I did as well.
expected Klopp to go absolutely bonkers. I expected his teeth to be like them little wind-up teeth that chatter on the table. I was expecting him to go absolutely crazy, but he didn't. He basically kept his nerve. He held his tongue. He said it's only going to affect me financially. I mean that was an absolute disgrace, Dave, wasn't it?
I think financially it's going to help him keeping quiet because he'd like a full week's salary because he's not had one since the season started, has he?
I mean, it was good to see Liverpool get a little bit of taste of the real medicine. Newcastle United fans were just reminding everyday that poor Isak, his goal should have stood at Liverpool, but it was offside because of his shadow. Wow. No sympathy from Newcastle fans.
He's not bitter. He's not bitter.
I'll tell you what we'll do, Dave.
Newcastle got Champions League this week as well.
Yeah.
I've never mentioned that for a while. 6 minutes. This is the champions.
Listen, we will go.
You'll get emotional.
We'll go and have a break, and when we come back, I'd like to sort of unpick this with Dave. Really, this whole VAR thing.
We need to,
and have a little bit of a laugh at Liverpool as well. We'll do that right after this.
Have you fancied presenting your own radio show? Well, you could well be presenting this very programme. How do you fancy joining a growing list of fantastic radio presenters?
I don't want to hear after 4 or 5 games in the manager ever saying we need to restart and reboot.
It is early days. The
cup run.
Don't blame me.
It is.
Don't blame me.
The Cat is all about Wearside, and at times the Black Cats too. The Toon is all about Tyneside, and at times Newcastle United too. The Red is all about Teesside, and at times the Borough too. So come on, if you're confident you could present this very show, reach out, get in touch. Email any of the 3 stations. That's hello@thetoonuk.com, hello@thecatuk.com, or hello@thereduk.com.
Steve and Ry, the Northeast Footy Breakfast.
The Cat, the Toon and the Red.
It is the Northeast Footy Breakfast on the Cat, the Toon and the Red this morning. 7:38 on a Monday morning. We've got Ry, who is live from Down Under this morning, and we've also got Steve and we've got Davey Ladd, who are coming live from Gateshead at Raval's restaurant this morning. Indian restaurant. Yep. It is the start of National Curry Week, and what we want to know is can you smell the cooking yet, lads? Is it all happened there for you?
Not yet. We're looking. I'm having a good sniff. I'm trying to smell the kitchen. I tell you what, as soon as I smell that, my stomach will be rumbling. Absolutely, it be rumbling?
No need.
Daz and I on the 2-minute noodles this morning. That's all we get, I tell you, from Australia and the studio. Where they might have the nicest curries in the land, and we're just on the 2-minute noodles, doing it rough today, Daz, I tell you. What a weekend! What a weekend!
Don't want to rub it in, guys. Don't want to rub it in. But I'm just looking here, and it says British Curry Award winner. So there you go.
Oh my goodness! I'm just going to look over my 2-minute noodles here. I'm surprised there's not fans out the windows for Steve Wraith as well. With he's got all his fan base, his groupies,
we had to bring
security.
Yeah, we had to bring security.
They're
holding them all back
through
on the other side of the Tyne Bridge.
Coming over the Middlesbrough-built bridge, looking for their famous Steve Wraith. If you want an autograph, get down there.
Middlesbrough built Tyne Bridge. This is getting worse. It's not Middlesbrough built, man.
It was, man.
By the way, Steve, I'm now keeping account of how many times you say the Middlesbrough built Tyne Bridge. I'm just keeping a tally on that one as well.
So
it's not as many as Champions League.
We did
only one way to the Champions League. It's over that bridge.
So listen, gentlemen.
Get yourself down to Raval this week. Get yourself down to Raval. RavalUK.com is the website. Get yourself on there. Use the code NUFC Matters 2023 or Toon Radio, and the lads will sort you out with 20% discount.
And give them a reason. You've got to tell them a full story, Steve.
Yep. The reason that they are doing it is because they are teaming up with feeding families. And I mean, Juliet Sanders is the CEO of Feeding Families. I'll just give a little quote here from the press release that the restaurant put out. We're delighted that Raval have chosen Feeding Families as their charity to support. The people of the North East are passionate about food and football, and we are equally fervent about assisting those currently facing hardships. By uniting and contributing in any way we can, we hold the power to effect monumental change across the region. Let's rally behind our team and community in unison. So anyone who comes in and buys a chicken tikka masala this week, then the equivalent of that will be donated to the charity. Well worth supporting the cause. Well worth getting behind the restaurant. And for me, it is the best Indian restaurant outside London. So get yourself in RavalUK.com. If you make a booking this week, make sure you mention NUFC Matters 2023 and you'll get 20% off.
Said that well.
Absolutely love it.
Come on, slag me off.
Absolutely love it. Well, the VAR, boys, I mean, we've seen it on the weekend, haven't we? We were talking about it just before the quick break there. We've seen an absolute horrendous. We seem to bring it up on the show constantly, don't we? The VAR, the refereeing decisions, and we've seen an absolute howler on the weekend in the Liverpool-Tottenham game. If you haven't seen it, or you've been living under a rock, football fans, get yourselves on social media, get yourselves on your local newspaper, and you're going to want to read about the Tottenham-Liverpool game, because VAR has undermined sporting integrity, Dave. That is what the headlines will read. VAR error has undermined sporting integrity. We've also seen the VAR officials stood down from duty for the rest of the weekend. The governing body for referees, the PGMOL, has said the decision to disallow the goal was a significant human error. Liverpool have also put out a statement saying the explanation is unacceptable and will be calling for a review with full transparency. Dave, what has happened?
Thanks, mate. Blame me entirely for the inadequacies of my former PGMOL colleagues.
You're our PGMOL representative.
Well, I was a member of PGMOL for a year before I left the country to go and work abroad, but there you go. No, look, it was a shocking decision. I can't defend anybody. It was appalling. It wasn't offside. It was a good goal. I've said so many times on this show, burn it at the stake. In fact, I've come up with an idea for halftime entertainment. We should take VAR at every Premier League stadium, put it in the centre circle, and then burn it at the stake. That's our halftime entertainment. That's how valuable it is to us at the moment. No, it was correct. It was a terrible decision. And, you know, look, I used to defend my colleagues to the hilt. But how can you defend something like that? And their only slap on the wrist is, they're not going to do any more games this weekend, or they're not going to do any games for a week.
Should be a season. Never mind the weekend. Yep. You can't defend.
Imagine if a player did it.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. And to see as well, Liverpool coming out and asking for a review with full transparency. Is this going to be, lads, the straw that breaks the camel's back finally, where we actually see something given back to a club for a mistake that's been made?
You can't give them anything back. I saw when you posted something in our WhatsApp group, right, about the game potentially being replayed. You know, Spurs will have something to say about that, because Spurs will just point to the fact that there's been so many mistakes in other games where Liverpool have benefited. So then you come back to that old adage of it evens out over the course of a season. That's what people have always said. The whole point of VAR was to stamp out that kind of ethos that it all balances out over the season. It was supposed to clear all of these problems within the game, but it's created further problems because it hasn't been launched properly. And we keep saying this, but if you can get it right in rugby, if you can get it right in cricket, if you can get it right in golf, why can't you get it right in football?
Because it's a completely different game. It's a game that doesn't have natural pauses like all those other sports that you've just listed have. You know, rugby has natural pauses, cricket has natural pauses, tennis, golf all have natural pauses where you view something. Football isn't. And this was my big fear when we came into it. My biggest fear, and I almost saw it happen once, is, you know, even with goal line technology, when they started talking about goal line technology, it's what impact will it have on the fabric of the game? That was my biggest fear. And my fear of goal line technology is chance at one end, cleared off the line, did it go in, did it not go in? While they're reviewing whether it went in or not, ball goes down the other end and they score a goal. You're going to have absolute pandemonium if that happens. Thankfully, with goal line technology, they've designed technology to be instant, so that would never happen. So that was great. That overcome one fear I had. But then as soon as we got VAR, and as soon as I saw how it has to be implemented, you know, you've got guys who are 100, 150 miles away in Stockley Park, looking at screens, reviewing chances, talking to the referee in their ear. For one, I've got a fear that technology will break sometime. You'll lose that connectivity with them. But even if that doesn't happen, then go and have a review. Hold the game up 4 minutes while you have 27 different camera angles shown at you before you make a decision. It's fundamentally flawed in the respect that if a referee gets a shout in his ear to go and review his decision, he's going to think he's got it wrong before he even gets to the screen. So that will taint his overall decision. He's got to have a big pair of cojones to actually go and review it and go, no, I was right, fellas, forget it. You know, decision stands. I just think it's fundamentally flawed. The game can't be replayed. Nothing can be done about that game. I can smell the food, by the way, lads. There's nothing can be done with that game, simply because in the laws of the game, it does state that the referee's decision is final and cannot be changed if the match restarts. So if play restarts, that decision cannot be reversed. Until that moment, the referee can change his mind. But once that kickoff is done, once that indirect free kick for offside is taken, that's it. End of story. You can't overcome that decision.
It's incredible, isn't there? There's so much to unpack with this one game and the actual issues. There's a couple of points in here that I want to get everyone's thoughts on as well. And I'll start with the first one, and the fact that, and it's also come from our best mate, Gary Neville, who reckons that the Liverpool statement was a mistake. He reckons that Jurgen Klopp has handled the situation quite well, which we obviously acknowledged at the start of the conversation, but he reckons the Liverpool statement was a mistake, talking of exploring all options. What does that even mean? And the sporting integrity are dangerous phrases, along with being vague and very aggressive. Sorry should not be respected or not undervalued. This is a snap reaction that can always be wrong, and I feel very strongly about it. Another one, and the second point on this, so I want to get the lads' thoughts on what Gary Neville's had to say. Was Liverpool's statement incorrect? And the other one, lads, is Liverpool's announcement. And listen to this. So Cook, England and Michael Oliver, they were the officials for the weekend as well at the Tottenham game. They were part of the match officiating team who took charge of a league game in the United Arab Emirates in Thursday. Right, so all three officials that are under scrutiny were all match officiating a United Arab Emirates game on Thursday, and the Football Association had approved the trip, and the trio arrived in London on Friday to prepare for Saturday's game. It is now understood that Liverpool want this looked at as part of the review. So, can you, lads, tell me, one, was Liverpool's statement a mistake? Should have they just shut up and put up? And secondly, is there anything to be said about all the match officials officiating a game on a Thursday, flying back on a Friday, officiating another game on Saturday?
I understand where Gary Neville's coming from, but look, Jurgen Klopp did well not to say anything at the weekend, and quite rightly so, because he would have just got fined. But I think with regards to the football club, they're entitled to have their say. They've been robbed really of points at the weekend, and who knows, had Diaz goal stood, that game could have gone a completely different way. So yeah, I think Liverpool were entitled to say what they've got to say. However, when you look at the situation, it's no different to what happened in Newcastle at Anfield when Isak made his debut down there and had a perfectly good goal choked off because his shadow was offside. So what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I'm afraid Liverpool have got to suck it and see and just take it on the chin. Nothing's going to happen. They're not going to get the game replayed. They're not going to get anything renewed or reviewed or changed. So for me personally, I would just say, look, you just got to accept it and move on. The only way that this can be changed, and the only thing that can do here is that at the end of the season, we need to make a decision. What are we going to do with VAR? Yeah. Things need to be looked at and changed majorly. But we have got a feast in front of us, lads. And
I've just seen the photos.
We have sent you a few photos, lads.
Daz, take them off. Take them off the air, Daz.
How do I leave that WhatsApp group? How do I actually?
You can't leave it. You can't leave it. And you definitely can't cut us off when we've got the chef here. We've got Rajesh has joined us, and he's going to sit next to Dave, and Dave's going to have a chat with him because we need to know what we've got in front of us here. We've got a feast here, lads. And Rajesh has
actually,
made it this morning.
You should have been doing the question because I'll put it on Facebook so everybody listening can actually see what we're talking about. But there you go. And we've already had the stop it comments from Darren and Ry. So
morning, thanks for coming in.
Yeah. So what do we have in front of us then?
It's actually like a typical breakfast from north to south in India. Yeah, and like we have for the breakfast we have like an omelette. That's a staple thing for breakfast. It's similar to a Spanish omelette to explain it, but we call it masala omelette. Yeah, the one you're having is.
I don't like the idea of it being in front of Steve at the moment because while I'm talking to you, he's eating it.
Yeah, that's one of this slightly spicy one, like just two different variations. It's but there's spice in it, like so that's with the vegetable. Vegetable is one of the main things, breakfast for
a lovely omelette with a hint of curry, which is lovely.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Spicy
Would never have thought of doing that with an omelette, to be fair, but that's gorgeous.
Right, and these are the South Indian breakfast kind of thing. That's the spicy one, which is potato. Like obviously on a breakfast we have potatoes, and that's like a steamed rice cake. Like normally on a breakfast, it's hardly there won't be any grease stuff. Like it's like everyone has a kind of intuition, like there's a lot of grease in Indian food, but normally not. Obviously there is grease, but it's not greasy. So that's called vada. The one you're having is called vada, which is from lentils and rice.
Just before we go any further, I'd just like to point out to the listeners, right? I'm here doing my work, talking to you. Steve on the other side of the table is just eating everything.
I am volunteering to make sure I tell you what. Now that is really hot.
That's hot. Yeah, that's like we have like few variations: hot, like mild.
Yep.
Yeah.
Give them all the hot stuff so they can't talk anymore. We don't have to listen.
That's the chutney. It's not chutney. It's called sambar, which is.
I like hot rye. I do like hot. These both like starting.
Yeah.
These are like slow burners, right?
Yeah, but that's
Oof.
definitely not hot. The water is it's like a very mild, very mild.
I think I'm still getting a kickback off this one.
Oh yeah, it is. That is spicy. We're gonna have it with a bit of chutney with it.
What do we have in the bowls?
Right, they are the curry for our curry week. Yeah. So we just thought, okay, we'll just put a few things together.
Okay, so is that the masala?
It is the national dish. To be honest, that's
The national dish of England.
So that's a tikka masala, and rogan josh. Everyone knows rogan josh. So we are trying to put forward, the popular dish normally, so people will know what they are going to have.
What makes your masala the best masala in the northeast?
It's definitely the spices. It's all home ground roasted spices.
Okay.
That's where if you can't buy these in the shops. Obviously, we have to make it. We buy the ingredients, then we make it. That makes it different. Yeah. That's the madras, so that's going to be another hot one.
Oh, so that's a
Oh,
madras.
there is a madras. Oh, I'm going to be running.
Get him running.
Again, like all our spices, we tend to ground our spices, so that makes us unique. The taste will be different than normal curry houses. Yeah.
We have one more.
What are you eating, Daz?
And
I've got a coffee.
That's your rogan
I've got
josh,
some water.
like I said.
Yeah, nice.
Like a mild one, Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. The madras is really nice, by the way. It's not like a hot.
Yeah. No, we have to cater to the public. Like I would like it much spicier, obviously.
I've got to let you in a little secret. I was away in Malaysia about 7-10 days ago, and I came back with food poisoning. That's why the lads are laughing at me having a curry this morning, because it'll. How can we say this at breakfast time? Quite tamely.
Had the runs.
It'll have an impact, I'm sure. But I'm looking forward to getting stuck in. Steve,
You need some alcoholic hand sanitizer
Yeah, I
there.
will do. Yeah, that's if I can.
Right. Again, like if you say worldwide, there's somewhere evening somewhere in the world. So
Yeah.
Okay. Bit of curry.
You've
Love
won,
it,
won
lads.
awards at the restaurant as well. I mean, how proud does that make you feel?
Very, very, yes, without doubt, Yeah, probably we are named as one of the best restaurants outside of London, so that's very important to us. It's great.
And I mean, it's your skills that have gone into providing us this absolute dream of food this morning that sits in front of us. But the fact that for the next week during Curry Week, you're going to be your food is going to be helping raise a lot of money for
Feeding families.
those people who need the help on Tyneside. What does that make you feel like?
I don't know how much to explain. That's the best thing. Whatever we can do, like whatever we can, we need to get it done for the lads. Yeah.
And this drink as well. This is something slightly different.
Yeah, that's called masala chai. Again, like there are a lot of raw spices went into it, roasted, like a bit of cinnamon, star anise, and cardamom, and the cloves. It's all like a little bit each, which gives you like a rush when it's rather than having a normal tea. When you get this in, the science part of it. It slowly whatever we have eaten, it slowly get digested. Like the cloves, like everything, like all the spices, you get the aroma, the spices goes in it. So you get a slight kick when you drink the tea. It'll be nicer if you had a bit more sugar, but obviously everyone may not like kind of sugar. Even
I am a chai tea fan, by the way.
Oh, there you go.
It looks like coffee, but it's actually.
Yeah.
Is it healthy?
It is.
It is, yeah.
Yes. Healthy, yeah. Obviously, milk, it's there, but
Yeah.
masala chai is always had it with milk. It's not a black kind of tea.
Yeah.
There are a lot of infusion teas, but still, masala chai, as we call it, it's with milk. That's how it is.
And for those people who haven't been down to the restaurant, I think what always one of the major attractions for me is when you come in and you get taken to your table. You can see inside the kitchen. You have a glass window where people are sitting having their food, but they can actually have a look in and see what you're up to, which is quite a unique experience for customers,
it's like
for diners.
We always call it a see-through kitchen. So it's basically you don't have to hide anything. Anyone can peek through it. the kitchen's clean, everyone's works like professionals, so we have nothing basically to hide. You don't have to be in a closed kitchen, you know. It's all there, and you can see through. So that's a nice thing for us, in a way. Okay, so
I love the way that they make the bread as well. The bread here is unique for me.
yeah,
it's really special, and you know, you come and you know that there's a lot of time and effort goes into just everything that you prepare.
yeah, yes, especially maybe not everyone knows that all the Indian curries may take time to get it done, especially the masala. If you don't do the masalas really well, we call it buna. If you don't, it won't bring out the taste. All the masala, so it takes like 6 to 8 hours to get the spices done. Like from the beginning, from the start, it takes 6 hours clean to get it done. That helps, you know, for the taste, all the flavors coming out. Yeah, we can make anyway. You know, you can make in 20 minutes, but that's nothing compared to what. Yeah.
Does it surprise you how popular curry is in the area? I think I was speaking to the owner a while back, and he was saying there's something like 10,000 curries. Is it sold in the area each week?
It will be. Oh, yes, a figure.
Something like that. I mean, that's a phenomenal amount of curries sold just in this area in Gateshead.
It is like, yeah.
Are you amazed at how popular it is in the northeast?
Like I known it for some time, but when I heard the numbers, that's quite good.
Yeah. Very good. Dave, how you finally managed to get some food there, Dave? How are you finding it?
I'm just filling my face at the moment. I'll tell you in a second.
All right. Well, you can still talk, which is good. As we're heading towards the news, he's not heading towards the toilet yet, lads. But honestly, lad, I mean, we've sent the photo on WhatsApp. Yeah. It doesn't do it justice. It is absolutely fantastic. It looks great. It tastes great. It's a bit strange, I've got to be honest, having this at this time in the morning.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, you know, from our point of view, just thanks for coming in and cooking it and give us a little taste of what people can experience this weekend, National Curry Week at Raval.
And there's one more thing we've missed. It's called the paratha.
Right.
It's Kerala paratha. It's all the way down south. It's like it comes as strings, you know.
I'm actually quite used to roti parathas, which is something Southeast Asia does. It looks exactly the same sort of consistency.
Like a bread-wise. It might be, there are a lot of variations in bread, you know. Yeah. This is one of the typical one in Kerala, that's all the way southern part of India. Obviously, it might have gone a tiny bit cold by the time, but...
That's nice.
That's why I'm going to eat it all now.
Right,
we're at the news, so we can do that, Dave.
Yeah. Well, you guys enjoy that while me and Ry... are very, very jealous. It sounds absolutely wonderful.
Very much so.
It sounds wonderful, though, and you'll have to get the pictures up onto the socials, Dave.
We will.
To share that
I'll
around.
do that while I'm eating.
Yeah.
Promise you.
It is the Cat, the Toon and the Red. It's the Northeast Footy Breakfast right across the Northeast, and we will be back after the news.
From Yarm to Yibby, Harrington to Horsley Hill, Swarwell to Silverlink. Steve and Ry, the Northeast Footy Breakfast.
Right across the Northeast, the Red, the Toon and the Cat.
The Northeast Footy Breakfast on the Cat, the Toon and the Red, 7 minutes past 8. Good morning. How are you doing out there? You can take part in the Northeast Footy Breakfast. It's really easy. All you got to do is just drop us a WhatsApp. 0330 043 2002. We'd love to hear from you. You can message in if you've got anything to say about the big three teams this weekend, the VAR controversy, or anything that you've heard on the show so far. You can drop us a message, and you can even get yourself on as well if you want to speak to our Northeast Football Breakfast crew. It's 0330 043 2002. We've got Ry and I deeply jealous this morning.
Slumming it.
Yeah, we are slumming it in our own studios. While Steve...
At least you're speaking a bit of poetry there, mate. Ry and I. Yes. I was on that.
Well, Steve and Davey, lad, are at Raval's restaurant this morning in Gateshead, celebrating
National Curry Week.
Yeah. And how's it going, guys? Dare I ask?
We're doing a bit live here, because on my fork is a large piece of Madras chicken.
Oh.
So this could be the moment, fellas. This could be the moment. Sorry?
What did I ask for?
Well, I haven't yet. I kept this for live on air because,
all right, okay.
you know, I do like to set myself up from time to time.
Yes.
And, yeah, when it comes to spices, I can do a bit of chili. Lived in Singapore for 8 years. Got to do chili if you live there.
Yeah.
But this is a whole new world for me, so here we go.
Is he getting the runs? He's still sitting down at the moment, I think. Are we feeling it in the tummy? It's going to work its way down. It'll hit that Malaysian belly.
Keep talking.
Well, lads, I want to talk to you as well. And as we may be looking at a Dave Roberts injury very soon in the tummy department, I wanted to cover a couple of injuries that we've had, especially at Middlesbrough and Newcastle as well. Sunderland coming through unscathed on the weekend, which is always good. But the fixtures are coming thick and fast. And we've seen two significant injuries. One, obviously, to Lewis O'Brien down at the Borough, who took an absolute wicked tackle, and I'm still shocked that the referee didn't do anything with it. But Lewis O'Brien was seen in crutches. He's got scans today. We'll be sweating over that one. And Joe Linton over at Newcastle as well. The injury's starting to rack up, lads. We spoke about this last week, and I just wanted to bring it up once again because it is starting to worry me. With obviously the extended time in playing time, the referees are extending matches. You know, we're seeing 10, 12 minutes of extra time. Are we really going to see the squad depths tested this season, lads? Because Middlesbrough now, in the left-back department especially, are really struggling. And I want to hear from you, Steve, as well. How bad is it going to be for Newcastle to try and cover Joe Linton and Harvey Barnes, who you've both lost in 1 week?
We always knew it was going to be difficult, this, lads, because Newcastle obviously fighting on all fronts at the moment still. You know, Carabao Cup. Beating Man City means we're like Borough into the next round, and we've got that game to look forward to at the end of October, start of November. But then you've got the Champions League, and that was always going to play its part because you've got 3 group games, you've got 3 teams, you've got to play, you know, home and away, and it's an added 6 games to your busy schedule. So of course it's going to mount up. But Joe Linton limped off the weekend, as I mentioned in the headlines. Not great. Especially after he's just come back from injury, put a really good performance in against Man City, was playing well on Saturday and then just pulled up. So clearly it's either a reoccurrence of an injury that he's already had or a new injury. We'll find out tomorrow from Eddie Howard's press conference about that injury. The worst thing was, though, we started without Callum Wilson. And
I was going to say, you have Callum Wilson as well, yeah.
They're both out now until the international break, which sounds a long time, but it's not. We've got the PSG game Wednesday, then we've got West Ham away, and then there's an international break. So it gives the players a little bit of respite. It gives them a little bit of a chance to recover. Wilson, there was just a slight concern. I think it's a rest rather than a serious injury. It's hamstring related. It always is with Callum. With Botman, it was the knee that we were told that was an issue. We don't know how bad that is. But we've been told that both of those players are not going to return until after the international break. So it doesn't sound too bad for them. More of a case of resting rather than recover. You know, than a long-term absence. With Joe Linton, we'll have to wait and see, as I say, until tomorrow. Harvey Barnes, we know he's out for 3 months, so he's not going to be back now until the turn of the year. Emil Kraft, probably the one good point for Newcastle. He had a run out in the under-23s, played 45 minutes, so he's on his way to recovery. And of course, Joe Willock. We've not seen Joe Willock this season. He's been out pre-season with a bad injury. He was on his road to recovery, and then he had a setback with an Achilles, which was a completely different injury. So he is penciled in now for a return to training at the end of October, which is after the international break. I think we'll see Joe Willock probably the start of November. But it's just the way it goes, lads. It's hard. It's hard for professional footballers these days, you know, because they're finely tuned athletes and they do struggle. They do really struggle, to stay fit for every single game. I worked it out, or should I say one of our listeners on NUFC Matters worked it out. If Newcastle were to be successful in each of the cup competitions, get through to the group stages in the Champions League, would play over 60 games this season, and there's no professional footballer can do that now. So it's it's a struggle. But I think I can take some massive plus points out of what we saw against Manchester City on Wednesday night. And that is that Jamal Lascelles, Paul Dummett came in at centre-half, a centre-half pairing that's never played together. 2 guys who've probably only played 2 or 3 games between them in 12 calendar months, and they looked as if they'd been playing together all season. So from my perspective, we've got strength and depth, and it also looks like everybody who comes on and plays their part for Newcastle United knows exactly what they're doing. And midfield is one of our strongest areas. Bruno Guimaraes was in fine form at the weekend. He is back to his best. Tonali, of course, our biggest signing in the summer, has shown some flashes of brilliance in his short time at Newcastle. So we've got him. We've got Elliot Anderson, who, has got to get that goal sooner rather than later, because he's just been so unlucky. That header that was cleared off the line at the weekend deserved to be a goal, but he's putting in some match-winning performances. And then we've got Anthony Gordon, who picked up his 5th yellow card at the weekend, means he'll miss the West Ham game, but he is available for PSG on Wednesday, who is our player of the season so far. Add to that Jacob Murphy, who when he came on against, when he came on the other week against Man City, was absolutely brilliant. As Almiron seems to be back to his best with that wonderful finish at the weekend. Midfield's not a major concern. Centre forward is, though. And Callum Wilson being on the sidelines means we've only got Isak for Wednesday and Saturday. He, of course, had gone off in the Man City game after scoring the goal that got us through the next round with a slight strain. So it's just taking it game by game, and squad rotation and having players that can play in a variety of roles is going to be key. We've also got Livramento and Hall, who both relish playing fullback, but are also very good going forward. And if the injury crisis did deepen to our midfield positions, then those two could clearly push forward as well and get involved. So not too concerning. We've got players, we've got strength and depth still. But any more injuries and suspensions, and it would start to be, it would start to get a little bit concerning. But at the moment, I'm not too worried, lads. I'm not too worried. What about you, though, Ry? With that injury at Borough, you've just started to find your form.
I'm very worried with Lewis O'Brien, and we're fearing the worst. We heard Michael Carrick say after the match, we saw Lewis O'Brien come in back onto the bench after half-time on crutches, and Lewis O'Brien has been sensational for us, filling in at left back, which seems to be the biggest issue to fill for Borough at the moment. And losing Lewis O'Brien for potentially a long time, as Carrick said, he's fearing the worst. Could be a massive blow. We've still got Matt Clark out, obviously. He's just starting to recover from a back problem. We've still got injuries to, obviously, Anthony Jicksteel and obviously our new signing in Alex Bangura. We've got issues around Engel, whether he's ready to go or not. Obviously, he's still trying to find his feet in championship football. So the backline for us Borough fans is starting to look a little bit worrisome. We also saw Darragh Lenihan go down with illness, obviously undescribed illness, but I reckon he's had one of Dave's belly dramas, and I need Darragh Lenihan to stay away from dinner at Dave's house, because we need you back, Darragh Lenihan. And unfortunately, it's just the back line. I mean, the midfield and up front for me, we've still got a lot of depth, but we're going to start seeing some real big issues if there's a couple more injuries to our back line, because we're going to not be able to fill the left back position. We may even see Michael have to go to a back three, just purely on injuries. We saw the return of Tommy Smith on the weekend, which was great. Obviously, that's going to give us some cover there, but unfortunately, with Lewis O'Brien, that could be a massive loss. And over to you, Sunderland fans as well. Get in on the WhatsApp while we're waiting for Big Tim to get into the studio. But obviously, Sunderland not doing too bad at the moment, with Corey Evans out with the cruciate ligament, Jay Matete as well with knee surgery, and obviously you got Bradley Dack, who has got side problems, but he's in and out sort of thing. So Sunderland not looking too bad in the injury department, but obviously Steve's not too worried, but I'm starting to get a bit concerned. And Daz, I want to hear your thoughts as well as a Borough fan in what's going to happen with our backline.
Yeah, I mean, it is a worry, and the mystery surrounding Lenihan with this mystery illness is a bit of a worry as well. Obviously, we've got Matt Clark to come back as well. Return, it is Matt Clark, isn't it? I've said that now, and I'm thinking it is who's returning from injury.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
Yeah. So, it is a worry, because that's our area of concern at the moment. We're still leaking goals. We're still looking vulnerable at the back, and I don't think we can afford any more injuries or any more. I think what we start to need. A lot of talk this weekend about things are really starting to click, and we've let in another 2 easy goals again. Things need to click a little bit better for me at the back, and I think part of that is a consistent run in the team to build some confidence, to get them all playing together, develop that understanding between them. I'm concerned. And with O'Brien just coming into the team, he's finding his place there. I'm worried.
But looking a great addition though as well, and not just coming into the team and finding his feet. He was looking a great addition, and that was the biggest blow for me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I think, you know what, as well, we saw, and what we can maybe touch it on in the week I was going to, but what we saw from Watford was some very aggressive tackling, and I felt like, again, and I don't want to harp on the referees, but we needed a bit more protection from our players. We saw an ugly tackle on Lewis O'Brien that caused the injury. We saw a horrendous tackle on Izzy Jones as he was breaking away. Luckily, Izzy was able to get back to his feet and jump over it, but that should have been a bigger card for me. We saw some tough tackles in Hoyt, the Watford defender as well, especially on Joshy Coburn, pulling him to the ground every chance he got. It was, look, it's a rough and tumble league, but we're going to need to start seeing a little bit more protection for me because, for me, the Lewis O'Brien one, we just stopped the game and everyone went for water, and poor old Lewis is on the ground with his head in his hands, and it was terrible to see. So we pray for Lewis. We hope that it's not the worst of news today as we wait the scans, and obviously Carrick will have a presser with Middlesbrough having a midweek game against Cardiff. But starting to get a little bit worried for me is Middlesbrough at the back line. Not sure what's going to happen if we suffer a few more, and hopefully we see Darragh Lenihan. And maybe I'll have to fly over and attend the press conference to get some of these hard-hitting questions again to Michael and see what he has to say. But lads, also, I wanted to talk to you as well while you're sitting there enjoying your curries and me and Daz on the waters and 2-minute noodles. I wanted to ask you lads, Hartlepool, we love to we were a North East Brekkie show. We cover all the local teams, and Hartlepool are starting to look a little bit worrisome. They've had 2 losses now on the bounce, and it's a good theme, obviously, continuing from injuries, because Hartlepool are seeing injuries absolutely left, right, and centre. They've got, obviously, the boss in John Askey now coming out saying we just need players. And unfortunately, they just can't get them. They're looking for free agents. They're looking for loanees. They're desperate, apparently, for players, says John, because he's had a couple of injuries that have absolutely ravaged his squad. They're now 2 wins without a bounce. We've got Raj Singh now, the owner of Hartlepool, coming under scrutiny again. It's funny what a loss does and what a win does when you start getting questions. We hadn't heard anything about Raj Singh, the owner, already this season. And a couple of losses now, they're getting questions asked of them. Lads, Hartlepool, 2 losses on the bounce and a significant amount of injuries. Do we need to start, looking at how we can help Hartlepool United?
It looked a lot brighter, didn't it, at the start of the season? I mean, at the moment, the currently positions, Gateshead got beat against Bromley away at the weekend as well, but Gateshead still sitting in 5th, Hartlepool still sitting in 9th. I mean, it's a lot brighter than it could be, let's face it. There could be Darlington, Hartlepool. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those...
saying that.
It's one of those situations, isn't it? It's one of those situations that happens, and I think that at that level, when you do get hit with injuries, you do have problems because you don't have the Premier League millions, the Championship millions, and it's what we spoke about a while back about teams linking up locally to help local teams. Newcastle and Sunderland and Middlesbrough helping out their local teams who are in the National League and loaning players out. It would be a nice thing if they could do that on a regular basis and give them a help, because it is a struggle for teams like Hartlepool. They don't get the crowds. They don't get the crowds that they once used to get at their stadium, and they do need help. So, there's not a pot of gold in the chairman's office either. So, at the start of the season, there'll be a transfer budget. They'll be allowed to bring in what they can bring in. But then after that, if the injuries and suspensions take the toll, it's make do and mend for people like John, I'm afraid, and he's going to have to get on with it. So it's difficult, Dave, isn't it, at that level?
Yeah, it is. And I've got a soft spot for the Pool. I remember the days they loaned us the ground, Middlesbrough, when we went out of business. Our first game back at Essen Park wasn't ready when it looked like we were heading off into the direction of complete extinction. We opened that season up at the Victoria Ground, as it was called then. We have the connection to the likes of Craig Hignett, who went across and had a couple of spells there. Dave Hodgson was. I always remember him standing on the sidelines when I was at a Hartlepool Darlington derby, and that was vicious. And Hodgie almost got involved with a couple of fans behind him from the dugout. You know, it's Alan Murray's been across there doing a lot of work. I mean, the connections and the Red radio station down on Teesside, you know, when Hartlepool were really struggling and looking as though they were going to go out of business, you know, we work very closely with the club. So yeah, there's a lot of ties between us. And I remember the days when you'd have Borough, Sunderland, Newcastle in the Premier League, Darlington, Hartlepool were in the Football League, and it was great. It was cracking having 5 professional football clubs. And you know, when Darlington disappeared and then Hartlepool disappeared out the Football League, it was a terrible time. And ever since then, you know, they flirted. They did get promotion once, and they went back down. And it's the same as Darlington. You know, even at a lower level, you mentioned that earlier, and the Pooley fans will love you, by the way, Steve, for saying it could be worse. You could be Darlington.
That's why I said
They'll love you. They'll absolutely love you. Yeah, it's hard, but I think I don't see a solution, because I don't think Raj is able to put the sort of level of funding in, and the transfer window's closed as well, for another matter. I don't know whether it affects them at National League level, I'm not sure, but you know, I don't think there's a quick and easy solution for Hartlepool. It's going to be hard work. It's going to be waiting for injuries to heal, and it's just going to be a long road back to Football League existence if they can get there. And you know, I keep my fingers crossed. Absolutely, we want Hartlepool up there. We want Darlington up there.
Yeah, Darlington are at the lowest of the low at the moment. I mean, it's incredible to see how far they've sunk. I mean, once upon a time, Darlington, Hartlepool were in the old 4th division. You know, neck and neck, rivals. You know, pushing for the 3rd division, and now it's, you know, that's a million miles away. And you can't ever see. You know, you can't ever see light at the end of the tunnel for these teams. They need an investor like Ryan Reynolds to come in and go, bang.
Well, have you heard the story? Have you heard the rumour?
No, go for it.
Before he bought Wrexham, the club he was first looking at was Hartlepool.
Wow,
it was.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, there was rumours.
I mean, I've got nothing to base that on other than actually people I would trust I would value their information. Saying he had Reynolds actually brought a third party in to start looking at football clubs, because he didn't want to be the one picking up the phone and saying, "Hello, I'm a Hollywood superstar. You know, would you like me to come in and talk to you?" And apparently the list of clubs was very short that they were looking at, and the first one he looked at was Hartlepool.
Amazing.
Didn't happen. Went to Wrexham, bought Wrexham.
Incredible.
The rest is history.
Close but no cigar. Gateshead, I still think they'll do okay in this division. I think they'll be there or thereabouts, but you know, automatic spot. I can't see it. And you know, Gateshead again, another club who, you know, have suffered really at the hands of previous owners. You know, and now they've got a decent ownership. You know, got a great manager and a great coaching staff, but ultimately look as if they will be, you know, they'll struggle. They'll struggle to get that automatic promotion spot unless they get more investment, and that's ultimately what it's going to be all about for them, you know. But not a great weekend for the National League teams at all, and let's hope that, you know, Hartlepool and Gateshead get a little turn of fortune and get back on track. York City as well, we shouldn't forget them, although it's slightly out of our jurisdiction. I mean, they came away with a 2-2 draw at the weekend, so for, you know, from their perspective, they'll be slightly happier. They went to Solihull Motors and got a result, but not a good weekend for the National League boys.
No, but a great weekend for the 3 North East teams that we cover. Obviously, Newcastle, Sunderland and Middlesbrough all having victories. Can't remember the last weekend where we all 3 of us had a victory, so it's a great weekend there.
Rare.
Obviously, Sunderland going down to Hillsborough on Friday night, lads, and we haven't spoken much about it, but very, very interesting day there at Sheffield Wednesday. We saw the chairman putting a statement out in the morning of that game, saying that crazy, saying that he's not going to be funding the team as long as the fans still are bickering him, and he's not going to be looking after this club until the fans pull their heads in, which obviously would have set the boys off straight there and then. And we see them rocking up, obviously, to a Friday night game against Sunderland at home as well, and down, 3-0 in the first 25 minutes. I actually messaged you boys saying this could get scary, but it ended up just staying at the 3-0 scoreline. But it's crazy to see, lads. Obviously, we are starting to see the cracks appear in some of these clubs. And Sheffield Wednesday, I wanted to know what you guys thought about the chairman coming out and saying that he's not going to support the club anymore financially. They go down to Sunderland 3-0. Obviously, Moggers just said in his presser as well that he was Yeah, he said he was a bit worried after seeing the press conference that morning, and he felt sorry for the Sheffield Wednesday manager and the current predicament that he's in. Sheffield now obviously rooted to the bottom of the Championship. Sheffield United rooted to the bottom of the Premier League as well. So not happy times down at Sheffield. But lads, having a chairman coming out saying he's not going to support the club financially, we've never had it here in the Northeast. How would that make you feel?
Well, I don't know. We had it with Mike Ashley.
I'm actually looking at the sports director arena through the window now.
You know what? It was crass. It was arrogant. It was taunting. It just wasn't very nice.
No.
As a football fan, and neutral obviously as far as Sheffield Wednesday are concerned, I just felt it was terrible for him to do that, and he's clearly now, completely disliked by the Sheffield Wednesday fans, but he doesn't care, does he?
What's he going to achieve? What's he going to achieve by coming out and saying, that's it, I'm picking up my ball and I'm taking it home? Sorry, guys. All he's going to do is turn more and more fans against him. Would he not have been better? I don't know that it's possible with all the passion and the furore surrounding a big football club, a once big football club that's not performing well. Could he have come out and said, right, let's get together, let's have a chat, let's get some supporters forums together? I don't know. I mean, is there any other way he could have dealt with it sensibly that could have saved the situation? Because I think it's now gone past the point of no return for him.
It has, 100%. There's no way you can come back after saying you're not going to support the club until the fans get off my back. If anything, it pushes more fans away from you. And we saw protests at the ground. We saw, obviously, the disgusting effort by the few Sheffield Wednesday fans as well. But we also saw Sheffield fans leaving at the 25 minutes, lads. 25-minute mark, and droves of Sheffield. Yeah,
didn't even stay and read a book.
Just walking. 25 minutes in, and it raises a question for me. But I wanted to know as well, lads. At what point? What's the earliest point you'd ever leave a game? Obviously, a Newcastle game, Middlesbrough game, or a Sunderland game. But
half time, I did it with Sam Allardyce, Blackburn away, 3-0 down. I didn't leave. I stayed in the ground. And I just drank copious amounts of lager in the bar until they shut the bar because we drank it dry. There was about 2,000 Newcastle fans did exactly the same as me. That's the only time I physically left a game early, and I didn't really leave. I stayed in the ground, but it was just horrendous. Allardyce football.
Has you ever left a Borough team?
Do you know? I don't ever have. I mean, I maybe left sort of with 5-10 minutes to go when when it's a clear result to get away in the parking, if I'm going somewhere. But I do like to stick around. I like to clap the team off no matter what. So I do like to stick around at the end of the game. Whatever the result, you support your team. That's what you're there for. I think I remember as a kid going to a cup game at Ayresome Park. And my uncle taking me and coming out of the ground. I think we were getting beat and he wanted to get away early. Then we heard a goal being scored and we sort of ran to get back in. And I think
love it when that happens.
I think that probably scarred me for life, never to do that. But I just don't get this, and I think that the TV cameras are picking up on this a lot more recently, aren't they?
They are.
When teams are going 2 or 3-0 up, they're saying, right, let's have a wide shot here of the outside, or let's just do a shot of the the crowd and watching them walking down to either leave or get their pint. I think it's become more of a. I think it's always been there, but I think it's becoming more of an issue now. No, you stick around. You stick around and support your team. Like Steve was saying, even if that means you do it on the concourse with your beer full of belly, beer.
It was interesting just for me to see 25 minutes in, and obviously they've had a horror day with their the owner and CEO. Coming out and saying that, and then obviously down 3-0 after 25 minutes. I could understand it. But it's something I don't think I'd ever do. But 25 minutes in, Sheffield Wednesday not in a happy place, and a lot still to come from Sheffield Wednesday, and obviously they're financial as well. We looked over at West Brom, who had a big win, lads, on the weekend, 4-0. They're obviously still $55 million in debt. More to come this week, apparently, as their books are currently being looked into. So there'll be more to be released this week about West Brom and what's how the financial system how financially disastrous West Brom are in. But breaking news, lads, that I need to get your opinion on is Liverpool midfielder Alexis McAllister is up for FA punishment after claiming Tottenham actually had 12 players on the pitch. So more to come from the Liverpool-Tottenham fallout that we've spoken about most of the show with the VAR fallout, the disastrous moment.
What's he on about?
Alexis McAllister has claimed that at one point Tottenham had 12 players on the pitch. So, but apparently it was incorrect, and now Alexis McAllister could face an FA rap for just suggesting that that referee Simon Hooper was unable to count. So interesting there as well. So more to come as well.
Can we just pay respect as well to Europe, because we haven't mentioned it. We're an hour and a half in.
Well, hang on, before you
well done to Europe for winning the Ryder
golf.
Cup.
I thought you were talking about Champions League.
No, Europe.
I thought you were going Champions League.
Europe. Wasn't it tremendous?
I more or less saw all of that, Dave, this weekend, and Ry, honestly, Daz, it was great. I just love watching. I love watching the Ryder Cup, and I love watching the Open. But that was just fantastic, wasn't it? We absolutely mullered them, and there was no response.
Oh, mate, halfway through yesterday afternoon. I mean, we'll have to say yesterday evening for Ry, but halfway through Sunday, there was that point when it could have so easily turned, and they could have taken victory. They weren't far away. But thankfully, we had enough talent, enough strength. And then the guys at the end, I mean, the rookies at the end, came in with 2 points. It was just tremendous. And
one of them's only been pro for 3 months.
I know.
Unbelievable.
And he's already won a PGA event.
Wow.
It's amazing.
I saw that we
put
Rory in the WhatsApp. Yeah. I was going to say, we're seeing in the
Rory,
WhatsApp them singing.
Saturday night. Yeah. Oh, the WhatsApp, them singing on the coach, taking the trophy back. Yeah, that was brilliant. Is tremendous. But what the Americans did wrong was they riled Rory on Saturday night.
Yeah, that was immense.
What the caddy did on the green of the 18th was wrong.
Yep.
He should have gone and apologised to Rory, but instead he gave him the old dismissal, the cheap dismissal, the wave of the hand. Oh, forget it, you've lost. And we saw a completely different Rory McIlroy on Sunday. You could see it in his eyes from that first tee shot right the way through. He took them apart. But look, tremendous performance. Tremendous.
And it was incredible.
Are you going to be European, Ryan? Are you going to be European?
I think I will. I think I'm going to have to jump on for sure. I'm a token European at the moment because I love.
You remember you gave us Greg Norman, the shark in golf. He was a legend, wasn't he? What a legend.
Yep, we did. We've got Cam Smith obviously down here in Australia as well, which I'm absolutely a big fan of. So, but yeah, watching Rory's message as well to Team USA saying we'll beat you in America as well. That pumped me up. So I love seeing that from Rory as well. Bit of golf, argy-bargy.
It's good. It's nice to have a bit of it. It's nice to have a bit of change every now and then, and that's why I brought that up on Friday. You know what the second?
No, it was good.
But it was.
I've got a Northeast golf story. I've got a Northeast golf story.
So let's go.
When I was dad's story.
Yeah, no, not a dad's story, but Hexham. There was an event at Hexham, as there is most years. Pros were turning up, and we went across with some cameras for Sky. And it's chat to a few people, and you're just walking around the course. It was the day before the match started, and suddenly it's like, oh, there's a press conference. This young lad's going to announce he's turning pro, and we turned up. We chatted with this young lad. I did the interview. His name was Adam Scott. He actually turned pro at Hexham in the Northeast. Yeah.
Good old Adam.
Brilliant.
Absolute legend.
And we've had a second this weekend, lads. We've had a second big one as well in Scotland. Michael Beale has gone after 10 months in charge at Ibrox. And 7 points behind Celtic. Lost at the weekend at home. Embarrassing defeat, really, for Rangers fans. And just looking at the Rangers fans' faces as Aberdeen won 3-1 at Ibrox was a sight to behold. They weren't very happy, were they? They weren't very happy at all.
No. No, incredible as well. Michael Beale obviously leaving QPR to take over that job as well in significant circumstances there. QPR still hating on Michael Beale for leaving mid-job there as well, but to go to the Rangers. And obviously he was Steven Gerrard's assistant, so it'll be interesting to see. But another Aussie linked now to the Rangers job. We got Kevin Muscat. Obviously he's also worked under Ange Postecoglou. But Kevin Muscat has been lined up as a potential replacement alongside Pascal Janssen and Marcelo Gallardo for those three are in line for the Rangers job. Big job though to go down to Rangers and try and help them out. It's not to be underestimated. The Scottish League and taking on Rangers is a massive job.
Big job. Speaking of big jobs, how are you doing, Dave? With your masala
right.
there, are you doing all right?
He hasn't been for a big job yet, although he did run off at one point. And
did he run off?
He's going in the wrong direction for the Danny.
Well, I thought about all this golf talk. Dave wouldn't want to be talking about golf this morning, thinking about the follow through and everything. So, do you know what? I think it's time for some ads.
It's a bit cold on Tyneside. He has got a bogey running.
It's time for some ads. We'll be back after this.
Now then, do you do sales? Do you fancy a great career challenge? Well, the Red, the Cat and the Toon has a full-time vacancy for a special sales exec. Not only will you be responsible for generating the vital revenue needed to see the Northeast's newest radio business grow, but you'll grow too. Show us you can do the business and you'll soon become Group Sales Director. Our stations are flying. We have the 3 legends back on air. Then there's the one that most are talking about, the Northeast Footy Brekkie Show. And there's more to come. Gumption and creativity count more to us than years. You may only have 2 or 3 years selling experience, but if you get what we're trying to achieve, you will be the right fit. You'll ideally be located in Tyneside or Wearside. This will be a hybrid working role. It's a full-time basic plus commission position. So come on, think you have what it takes? Then give us a shout. Email any of the 3 stations. That's hello@thetoonuk.com, hello@thecatuk.com, or hello@thereduk.com.
Steve and Ry, the Northeast Footy Breakfast.
Right across the Northeast, the Red, the Cat and the Toon.
Dave, I think you've just opened the door and you found something there. Down in Raval's restaurant.
Yeah, well, I used. Let's just say I used the 3 minutes of the song to its best for me anyway. So I'm sorted.
There's a hell of a smell, yeah, lads.
Ah, thanks, Steve. You know what? I've just got to say a big thank you to Gateshead Council's traffic wardens who've gone along the street where we are at Raval's restaurant, right next to the town bridge, issuing parking tickets. Oh. I mean, we're 20 to 9 in the morning. And all they can do is turn up in force, 2 of them in the van. I hope they're listening to the Toon actually in the van because I'm looking at them through the window right now. Fellas, if that's you, it's me waving at the windows. Thank you for the parking tickets, Gateshead. And all we're trying to do is, help raise some funds this week. National Curry Week. We're at Raval's because they're donating money for every chicken tikka masala, etc. that's sold during the week towards really good causes here in the town. And, well, there you go. The vultures that are traffic wardens have pounced and they're feeding off the scraps. But anyway, enough of that. Fellas, we had some FA Cup action, didn't we, this weekend?
We did.
In the North East.
Not the best, though.
No, I mean, League Town 2, South Shields 0. Julio Arca will be really disappointed with that one. Darlington went down 2-1 at home to Scarborough Athletic. Just having a look at the rest of the scorelines. Blythe Spartans were in action. They drew at home 1-1 with Worksop Town. It's going to be a replay on Tuesday night. You do get replays in the FA Cup in the earlier rounds. So not the best, but we'll. I've got a soft spot for Blythe Spartans because I used to love refereeing there.
Yeah,
a passionate crowd. Let's just leave it at that. But some of the most humorous moments of my refereeing career came at Croft Park because some of the comments were absolutely cutting. It's a good job I'm a Teesside lad with thick skin. But I used to love that special relationship I had with the crowd. A smoggy refereeing at Croft Park in Blythe. There you go.
I've got a soft spot for Ramsgate, actually. That's where most of my extended family were born and still live. So, I've been watching Ramsgate down there as well. So, good to see them as well. So, it was good. But unfortunately for the Northeast, not so good. So, but on to the next round, and it'll start being the big boys' time soon. And another added fixture with all the injury worries that especially Newcastle and Middlesbrough seem to have. It's going to start ramping up, especially with our little Champions League run, our Carabao Cup run. Sorry, I get them confused all the time. I apologise about that, Steve. It's definitely going to be interesting to see who can come through and maybe we get a cheeky Newcastle Middlesbrough fixture.
Maybe he's Fulham Chelsea tonight as well in the Premier League. So Chelsea, is the pressure going to be further heaped on Pochettino tonight? That one's interesting because Fulham seem to have had a fairly nondescript start to the season. They've just gone about their business. They're sitting mid-table in 12th. But they're still above Chelsea, who are in 15th on 5 points. If Fulham win tonight, is Pochettino's job under pressure, lads?
Yeah,
it has to be.
Yeah,
it has to be. Yeah.
No,
I think you know what? I think this week for me is going to be. We're going to start seeing them now. We've seen Michael Beale today. Obviously, we spoke about that just before the break. We're going to see. I reckon now, thanks to Middlesbrough's result, we're going to see Ishmael Miller at Watford gone. I reckon he hasn't got much. I think we're going to see Heckenbottom gone as well at Sheffield United. We're going to see Pochettino as well. If he can't start getting results against Fulham, he'll be gone as well. I think there's so many managers now under. I don't know what's going on there. We've seen so much, fallout from off the field. Has he handled it? Has he not handled it? It's interesting. For me, Everton's lost to Luton as well. Puts big questions on Sean Dyche again. I mean, obviously, is he the man to get Everton up and going? They'll be severely disappointed that they've lost to Luton at home as well. So for me, this is the week. This is the week where it starts. I'm telling you.
Gary O'Neill
Michael Beale today.
Bournemouth as well. He's really struggling. I understand he took some time off to go and watch the golf this weekend because he likes to do that. But in all seriousness, Bournemouth are awful, and they're on an awful run as well. Trouble. Yeah. Well, it's not Gary O'Neill at Bournemouth anymore, so thank goodness he's of course not. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
He's Watford now, isn't he?
Bournemouth are in big trouble. So, and obviously Burnley, Sheffield without a win. But there's some big questions being asked this week of some managers, and I honestly think it's going to be a big week for it. And it's just the start with Michael Beale today at Rangers for me. And I think, we're going to see we're honestly going to see some fines still from that Liverpool fallout. We're going to see some fines maybe to Klopp. I don't know. I think Klopp handled it quite well.
Yeah.
Ange obviously was on the winning end, so he didn't have much to say. But, there's going to be some big talk this week as well. And Nottingham Forest, we obviously see Cooper as well. So he's obviously still keeps coming under, but seems to have Nottingham Forest up and about. So, yeah, whether will they, won't they? It's just good to see that the manager speculation's off the northeast for once. We've got Michael Carrick firmly sticking around at Middlesbrough now. Obviously, Mulgo's up at Sunderland. Happy times there as well. And anyhow,
Borough on the telly this week as well, lads. Borough on the telly.
Thank goodness. About time.
Not watching it on the telly. I'll be there.
About time. Are you going? Are you? Oh, I'm so jealous.
There you go.
We've
by the way, Borough Cardiff. It's a full week of football. We've got Luton Burnley on Tuesday night in the Premier League, with them televised. You've got Birmingham Huddersfield televised, Ipswich Hull televised, Borough Cardiff televised, Plymouth Millwall, Stoke Southampton, and West Brom Sheffield Wednesday. So real humdingers in Tuesday night's fixtures, and then of course Sunderland and the rest of the Championship teams play on Wednesday night. Sunderland, of course, at home to Watford. So. Interesting set of fixtures this week, lads. Busy.
It is.
Fellas, just before, it's remiss of me, I've missed one of our North East teams out in the FA Cup, though for the wrong reason. Morpeth Town, they got beat 1-0 at Whitby. So I had to mention Morpeth as well.
We have had a message in on our WhatsApp. You can message us at any time during the show on 0330 043 2002. Dunhill has messaged us this morning. Morning, guys. Hope all is well, including the digestive system, Dave.
He's in Gateshead, isn't he, Dunhill? Come on down.
Yeah. He said VAR is not the problem. It's the people operating it. Another issue is that VAR should not be hundreds of miles away from the stadium. It should be housed within, maybe a VAR truck or van, maybe. And referees need to grow a pair when making decisions and not be dictated by the VAR operatives. What do you think of that?
Well, maybe just watch the game.
With the big questions.
I mean, they must have literally either had a tea break when that Luis Diaz goal got choked off. They
didn't even do the lines.
Couldn't have been watching.
I heard they were having an amazing curry, mate. I heard they were down having an amazing curry. So
they probably were.
Yeah. No, incredible. No, good point, Daniil, and it's interesting. But you know what's crazy for me is that just keep putting down to human error. And I mean, I don't know how much human error we can have before it starts costing money and positioning and all that sort of stuff.
It was human error. That was the reason for introducing it.
Yes.
Very true. Very true.
We're trying to eliminate that 3% human error that we're suffering at the moment. And now we've got human error, meaning that the VAR system they've introduced to eliminate human error is causing problems. Where'd you get off this crazy bandwagon?
I don't get it. Yeah. And lads, they've just been given the weekend off. I mean, that's all that's happened to these referees. If a player had have done something similar, and I don't know what the equivalent is, they would have been banned, right, for a few matches, I would have argued. Can we arguably agree that these referees are okay to come back this weekend?
I wouldn't have them back. No.
I wouldn't have them back.
I'd have them out for a month. That's what used to happen to us when we were coming through the ranks. If we had a really bad performance, you could see it reflected in your fixture list. You know, you wouldn't be selected for the bigger games. You wouldn't be selected for the high-profile cup games. In fact, you wouldn't be selected for a couple of weeks. Now, you know, at the highest level, it seems to be slap on the wrist. You won't perform tomorrow in your duties.
Yep. Seems to be they got the weekend off, which they've already just had. Wouldn't be bad for them. They just got back from Saudi Arabia. So, it's interesting for me that they've only been had the slap on the wrist and only been given the weekend off. I'm not sure if there's any fines or anything for human error there. Obviously, it's a tough, high-pressure job. But, I think that's what Liverpool are probably pushing for is some sort of I guess punishment in that regard.
The usual line, mate, that used to get thrown to me when we were on the field in our little black and white uniforms or whatever colour it happened to be on the day, blowing a whistle, was it might just be a game for you, ref, but it's people's livelihoods that are at stake. That's what we used to get there all the time. It's our livelihoods. It's my job, the manager would say.
Do I not like that?
Do you not like that?
Job, referee, linesman.
Yeah. That's what we used to get all the time, but now it is. Now it's a huge amount of money that's on the game. It's massive financially. That one goal that was chalked off incorrectly could lead to a situation where, they could have got something out of the game, and if they fail to qualify for Europe by a single point, or they lose out on goal difference, or whatever it is at the end of the season, people will look back and go, that's what cost them. Yeah. That's what cost them. And it could be a fortune for the club. So we've got to get this right. We either accept human error is part of the game and burn VAR at the stake, or you've got to come up with a system, lads. I don't know whether artificial intelligence can do a better job, but you've got to come up with a system that is foolproof if you're going to start introducing technology.
Listen, guys, we're nearly at the end of the show. I wanted to hand back to Steve and to Davey, lad, there, just to finish off. You've had a fabulous morning at Raval's restaurant this morning, the start of National Curry Week. Have you eaten up yet, guys?
We have. It's been fantastic, and let's not forget, we're feeding families here. That's the whole point of the initiative that we are supporting with Toon Radio, the Red and the Cat as well, getting on board behind this particular campaign. And for everyone who comes to the restaurant this week and buys a chicken tikka masala, then the equivalent will be donated to the charity. It's a wonderful initiative. It's something that we're only too proud to support this charity.
Absolutely.
For everybody in Tyneside who's doing well, there are people who aren't. And that's the whole point of us teaming up with Raval this week. So it's been an absolute pleasure. I want to thank Avi and Naz and Rajez, who came down and cooked us the wonderful food this morning and allowed us to use the restaurant at an ungodly hour for these guys. But yeah, absolutely fantastic. And a wonderful backdrop. The Tyne Bridge, built by Smoggies.
Yes.
There you go, Dave. I've helped you out there before you chipped in.
Don't mention St James's Park.
St James's Park.
No.
SJP. Been absolutely great, lads, and proof that Dave and I can go out on the road and do it. And we didn't struggle. We got there. We got there with a nick of time. It was good. And we got it all done. But it was good.
We didn't break out into a fight, mate. No fisticuffs.
No fisticuffs. Look at that. And it was great to be reunited with our pal Daz. Great to have him back.
It's been great to be back. And thank you very much, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure, especially seeing you and seeing all that wonderful food that was put out there. Ry and I will recover somehow. The Northeast,
we will.
I tell you what, guys. Tell you how you can recover. We'll put the podcast up early and you can listen to it all over again.
And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, Daz and I live from Saudi Arabia. Thanks to Dave next Monday.
Hold on. What time is that? Is that Dave going up the stairs?
Well, we are gonna finish with this from Sheryl Crow. It is "Run, Baby, Run." We will be back tomorrow morning.
Guys.
Yeah,
Bye.
have a good one.
Big week, lads.
Daz
See
is
you
on
soon.
next with mid-morning. Cheers.
From Yarm to Yibby, Harrington to Horsley Hill, Swarwell to Silverlink. Steve and Ry, the North East Footy Breakfast.
Right across the northeast, the red, the tune, and the cow.